President Biden did something that he doesn't often do. It seems to me that he deliberately avoids this. He sat down for an interview. He actually talked to someone asking him questions, which I'd be excited about, except for who he sat down with. He sat down with an organization you've probably never heard of. It's called Now This News. It's kind of an obscure online, very left-wing video content creator. I guess that's the best way I know how to describe it, who hired a TikTok influencer by the name of Dylan Mulvany. Maybe you've seen videos of Dylan Mulvany. Dylan Mulvany is the man who identifies as a woman who has gone viral famous for his Days of Girlhood videos. Those ones where he goes, day 22 of girlhood and I'm feeling, or I think it was like day 3 of girlhood and I'm already feeling like a bimbo. Just really misogynistic, stereotypical portrayal of what a woman is. Even putting aside the idea that he's a man, he's born a man, he's biological male, and you can't transition to a woman just because you're wearing lipstick and high heels and you have a blowout in your hair. Just because, putting that aside for a second, all of his portrayals of women are actually really misogynistic, really sexist, really degrading to women, really insulting to womanhood. This is the person that Now This News hired to interview President Biden. This is the person who Joe Biden chose to sit down with. This individual who called women's vaginas Barbie pouches. This person went viral, and the next week, Biden chose to sit down. That in and of itself is horrible, right? Like, that's all you need to know to think, wow, this is really horrendous. This shows us what Biden administration's agenda is. But there are 2 videos that I want to show you that show what Biden intends to do to our country when it comes to the trans ideology. And this is the first one.
This is my 221st day of publicly transitioning.
God love you.
It's 3 seconds. No, it's 5 seconds. 5 seconds. This is my 221st day of publicly transitioning, says Dylan Mulvany. And what does Joe Biden say? God love you. So the point of that is that Biden supports this charade, supports this desecration of womanhood and this obliteration of objective truth. But then let's talk policy. Joe Biden goes on to say that states and individuals shouldn't be allowed to prohibit transgender surgeries on minors. Take a look.
Do you think states should have a right to ban gender-affirming health care?
I don't think any state or anybody should have the right to do that. As a moral question and as a legal question. I just think it's wrong.
Oh, as a moral question and as a legal question, Biden just thinks it's wrong if states prohibit doctors from mutilating the bodies of children who are suffering from a mental health issue, gender dysphoria. I'm actually so glad. I'm so glad Biden sat down for this interview. This is why Biden's handlers don't like him to sit down for interviews with any kind of journalist, any kind of broadcaster, any person in America, because Biden says things that show us what his agenda is, and people don't like this. I'm glad he said this, because this video, that 12-second video where Biden says he thinks it's morally wrong and legally wrong for states to prohibit surgeries on children, transing surgeries on children, that video should be required viewing for anybody before they cast their ballot in the 2022 midterm elections. This is your choice. These are the 2 parties. Do you want to be part of a party that wants to chemically castrate little boys because they like to wear dresses? Or do you want to be part of a party that supports parents raising their own children? That's the only question. If I had to distill it into one issue, this is the most important issue in our country. I know inflation hurts us all. It's very important. I know people rank it as very important. I understand that. I do too. But culturally, when it comes to the direction of our country, the transgender issue is the most important. And this is where the Biden administration stands. This is where the Democrats stand